from Inky and Scrappy. I will wait for a few people to hopefully join. Let's see. What can I tell you? We had snow last night. You want to see snow? I don't think you can see it because the glare. It's like too bright. Okay, well, it's white out there, so I guess you get the white. There you go. You can see a little bit of the snow. Not a fan. Especially not a fan on Halloween. Making weird faces. Oh, my house is a mess. Okay. Forgot to close my. If you are hopping on, say hi and let me know you are here. Let me close up a few things. So is it nice where you are at today? Because it is not nice here in Minnesota. It is currently, excuse me, 26 out, I do believe. Not a fan. It's just reminiscent of Halloween 91. No, we don't have several feet. We just have an inch, but it's too early for cold. The boys actually moved the chickens into the big barn. So they stay in their coop. Hi, Kate. They stay in their coop, but we move the coop inside of the barn. So it's a little bit warmer. And that way I have electricity for them. So yesterday I spent my morning putting straw down in their chicken run. They are not happy with not going outside, but it's cold. So they probably are happy they're in the barn. Maybe if it gets warmer out, I will try to take them outside and get them back in, but it's like a learning curve because they know where the backyard is. They might have wiggled their way around to the front yard. My backyard chickens were front yard chickens, but the new ones have never been in the barn, so it's new for them. We'll see how it goes. But their waterer's all hooked up, so it's heated, and chicken feed and straw, so it's warm in there. And the cats are like, you don't spoil us like you spoil the chickens. Chickens make me breakfast, kind of, sort of. So, all right, I have a couple of you here. So Kate is joining me from Canada at work. I want a job like Kate. I get grumped at when I try to multitask at the farm. It happens. So, any big plans for Halloween? Are you dressing up? I put regular clothes on for you today. A lumberjack plaid. That's what we're going for. All the good fun stuff. So I'm going to flip this around and I will get started. I will try to catch comments as I create, but I can't promise you a whole lot. Definitely. I should have done later today. The plan was we were going to stock corn or chop corn stalks today and bale, but not with the snow. So I could have done later today, but here I am. So I will get started and we will go from there. So I'm going to flip you around here. Maybe. Kate wants snow. Kate, you don't want snow. You just think you want snow. Snow sucks. It's cold. Ugh. Not a fan. So for my actual project today, we are going to recreate what I did for card class for the month of October. Well, this was the second one. I did the other one last week on a live. And we're going to paint all of the things with some distress inks and some distress mica stains. And I have everything stamped and embossed. I'm not going to use those. It was just extras because I have room for them. So we are using the Best Witches set from MFT Stamps. I got it because the cute little bat cat. Yes, I'm a sucker for cats. Let's see here. I don't know where I want to start. So, purple. I should probably start with yellow because that's probably the one that will muddy everything right away. So I'm just gonna squish them down onto my glass media mat. I'm starting with scattered straw for the little witch's hair. I have my little thing of water off to the side, and I have both a finer, I don't know, it's just, this one is a 0, but it's a crafter's choice. And the other one is, it says it's a 3. Usually I use a 6 or an 8. That's just the one that I grabbed today. We'll see. I needed something bigger for the chair cushion just because it's kind of bigger. So I really just paint with it, and then once my first layer is down, I will go back in and add some shadow if I feel that I need some shadow. The trick to painting with distress inks is to make sure that you have enough water that it's going to dry, especially if you're not so much when you're smushing them. When I use the re-inkers is when I usually have issues if I don't water them down enough. So making sure I have enough water to kind of dilute that resin out, which allows them to actually dry. How do I know? Because last year in class we did some red, we did some Yetis, and then we had some red for Christmas trees, ornaments and such, and it didn't dry. And I was like, well, why isn't mine dried okay, but the rest of them didn't, because it was the liquid watercolor and they were used to using this. And so then they didn't actually water theirs down. And so we had some smudging going on. It was not cool. You know, it's what creative embellishment placement is for. Geese instead of crocodile. The geese are still flying out of here. They're trying to abandon ship as fast as they can. We have a moose spotting in the area, though, which is abnormal. A couple of years ago, we had elk. Like, the neighbor had an elk, like, come through. I don't know if it was a wild elk or if it was somebody that had an elk farm that one got, like, jumped the fence sort of thing. But it was a nuisance. It, like, got into their feed bags for, like, silage for the cows and stuff. It was, yeah. So I'm using some walnut stain for my woodwork on this one. I think for my original, I used vintage photo for everything, and I decided I wanted to switch it up just a little bit because I needed more variety in my life. So with distress ink coloring, I usually start fairly strong. I probably should have thinned this out a little bit more so I could go back in with a second layer and it would get darker, but I'll go in where I want my darkest tones, and then I will come back in and water it down a little bit more to kind of pull and highlight where I want the highlights in my ink or my coloring, I guess. I always do my class prep kits or my class images on Bristol smooth cardstock, just because then I can decide what we're going to use for our coloring medium once I get that far. Although my next class, I've already decided that we are doing alcohol ink, so I will probably put that one on some Expressic cardstock. So Kate, what are you going as for Halloween? Besides, awesome. And of course I went out of the line. That's all right. I'll fix that later. So I will come in with this one and just keep adding water until I'm happy with my shading. My favorite distress brown to color with is definitely vintage photo. It's just, I think it's a warmer brown, and I just like that brown shade a little bit better. I am going to do the tops of my pumpkins already, just because I think this brown will work for them, and I'll go with that one. Whoops. And I almost forgot this sheet, so I'm going to come back in and do that one. I think I did a brown bat on my original one. My one that I did in class that's already gone and in the mail. I think I did a black bat. I liked them both. I liked the black bat, but I think I'm going to do a brown bat again this time just because I can. Ooh, a homebody and comfy PJs. I agree. That one works. My sister posted yesterday that she is going to go as an overtired mother. And, you know, probably because she has 2 of them that are 2 and under. And yeah, sleep does not come easy for her. So I agree with that assessment. Like, why did I even try when the kids were little? Let's see, what did I always dressed up for Halloween when I took the boys out, just because I love Halloween. So the last time we took them out was when they were in middle school, and I went as Ace Ventura Pet Detective. And of course, my kids were like, who? So then, of course, I had to buy Ace Ventura Pet Detective so they could see who Ace Ventura Pet Detective was. And yes, I went full on mental psych ward hospital Ace Ventura, you know, because it was an easy enough costume. I had a tutu laying around and my husband had a Hawaiian shirt. It worked. Do I want to go a light brown in the ears and then add a little bit of pink later on? I don't have pink out, but maybe. We'll see. I'll add this one in now, and then I can always add to it later. I think we did pink. Some of them had pink in class. I'm going to clean off my palette there and then come in with my Villainous Potion. So I'm not probably going to use a whole lot of Villainous Potion. I'm pretty sure class-wise we did all of it in the Distress Mica spray stain. You know, because I like them. Let's see. Well, okay, that's not going to we'll spray and hope for the best. Maybe. As I get purple all over me. Life is good. Carry on. Now for my purple, I kind of just did some accents on the little witch girl here. Do I want to do, I think I'll just I'm going to mix the two. I want a little bit of a darker. I probably could have brought in one of the other, because which one did I use? I grabbed Hocus Pocus. I probably could have grabbed the other purple. I think there's one that's kind of that Villainous Potion color. It's on the shelf. I didn't grab it. These were the ones that we used for class, so I just kept them out and went that way. And this one was funny because one of my class participants loves glitter. And so I'm like, well, do you want the glittery purple? And she's like, yes. And then she's like, she's coloring it. And she's like, it's not getting glittery. It's not getting glittery. Like, she didn't say anything, but she just kept layering it and layering it. And I'm like, I said, well, it doesn't look glittery until it dries. Then it'll catch the light. And she was like, yeah, I noticed after my 3rd coat. So she had some gorgeously deep purple on hers, which it was beautiful. It worked. I did get my class cards finished. I was like so behind when I actually had card class. I kind of felt bad, but all the ones that came for card class had already signed up for the November one, sight unseen. So they didn't know what we were doing, but I did get them done and then texted them to them so they could see what they're actually working on. I think we're good there. I feel a sneeze coming on. This is not going to be pretty. Alrighty, so for the chair, this is the one I struggled with the most. I think it's just because it's such a large area and I was using a small brush. So I brought in the big one in hopes that I can get a fairly smooth transitional blend. I also need to remember that it is watercolor, and so it's not going to have that I don't know, that smoothness that you can get with the alcohol ink. And so the other part of this one is like we were working it in class and I was like, most of the chair is going to get covered because it's just going to get covered. The little girl is going to cover up most of the chair because she's going to sit on it. And they're like, oh, like, because they were going over it and over it and over it again, trying to get enough of that it was a smoother blend. It just wasn't, I don't know. It was one of those that just didn't want to, I think it was because we were coloring with just the spray stain or the mica spray stain, and it just didn't give a very even coat. I don't know if adding the other is going to make that a little bit better. I'm sorry, my phone is what I am recording on, and obviously there is a group chat that I'm a part of that is going to blow up this morning because, football mom stuff. I did get all of my photos loaded to my football group yesterday, which was glorious to get done. I went to the coffee shop. I don't have that option. It takes way too long. Hello, Lisa. It is a cute stamp set. I love this one. Turn my notification chirps off. Yes. Okay. Let's see if it'll let me do it because I'm doing it from my phone. Oh. Kate's gonna have to be my tech wizard because I think I have everything on silent. Can you still hear me? I was touching buttons. It wasn't going well. Sorry, Kate. I didn't mean to blow out your eardrums. Is it better now? I fixed it. I'll have to remember that for next time. I mean, I told my husband he wasn't allowed to call me, which he was sad about, I think. I'm not really sure. He just usually calls me because, So for my oranges, I have either carved pumpkin, crackling campfire, and then of course I brought out the jack-o'-lantern distress mica spray stain because glitter, is I like a good glitter. What can I say? I think I'm gonna go with the lighter one, and then I can always go back in and add the crackling campfire for some more, I don't know, deeper color later if I so feel the need. Big brush, little brush. We'll go with little brush. Now I did add water right away, so hopefully it's watered down enough that I don't have to worry about it not drying. Why, Kate? I can't hear you. Speak up. Kate told me that my intro music on YouTube was way loud in her earphones, and I don't listen to it like on earphones, so I never realize, the difference in pitch or sound. So I did start turning it down just for Kate to save her ears. Okay, and then whoever else listens on headphones, because I guess I didn't realize that it was loud. That carved pumpkin is really light when you water it down, just a little bit. Dooby-dooby-doo. I really don't have good stories for you today. Kate and I did a live on Saturday, and I think it was well received, everything that I've gotten back feedback-wise. I really enjoyed doing a live with somebody else because bantering back and forth is definitely a lot easier than trying to talk to myself for, an exponential amount of time. Just saying. That's what you're here for. I can't read the other part because it's underneath the thingy. Okay. To Mama Bear, yes. Our Christmas card. I haven't. Okay, so I actually loaded my first Christmas cards yesterday. I will have my first Christmas card up tomorrow on my channel to kick off my holiday wishes series. It was what I was planning last year, and then life happened, and so I didn't do what, 2 Christmas cards last year, maybe 3, I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot of Christmas last year. And so this year I'm hoping to get ahead of the game and actually get some cards done. So I have 2 of them done already for the season. And so this weekend, tomorrow, and then this weekend will be my first 2 videos for my holiday card series. And of course, they're both super extra. You really didn't expect anything else, did you? I think if you were on Instagram, you probably got to see my preview or a sneak peek, or actually you got to see the whole card already for tomorrow's video, because it is my craft roulette submission for this week. I didn't know when I was going to get the actual video up, but I ended up switching around a few things, and it will air tomorrow. Just going over it with another layer to kind of add a little bit more dimension to my pumpkin. And then, of course, I'm going in with that mica spray stain, so it also adds some glitter to it, or some shine. I don't know if it's really glitter because it's mica. It's fine glitter. It's not the chunky stuff. I like the chunky stuff. I like any glitter. It's all good. If you ask my kids, they will tell you, yes, Mom likes glitter because we're boys. And she thinks it's hilarious when I find glitter on them. Like, oh, you got glitter on your face. You know why I find it hilarious? Because when my husband and I were dating, glitter was all the rage in the late 90s, early 2000s. So like the glitter lotions and the glitter whatevers. And so I would wear glitter lotion all the time. And John would end up with glitter on his face or in his beard or mustache or whatever. And his mom would harass him endlessly the next day. Like, she would look at him funny and she'd be like, "What's that on your face?" And just pick on him relentlessly. And he would be like, "Oh my gosh." Like, he would just get so mad. He's like, "Could you quit wearing glitter?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, but that's, he was not impressed with my glitter fetish even back then. I'm going with purple wings on my bat cat. I just think it needs a little bit of color. Looking at my other bat cat, he's all black. I think he needs a little color. Am I going to regret my decision? Probably not, because what's better than glittery purple bat wings? The craft roulette stuff is kind of fun, trying to fit it into parameters. And now, don't get me wrong, I haven't done challenges forever. So I quit the challenge blog when I had my really rough surgery stuff 9 years ago. I almost died. It was way too much stress on top of all the other things. And so I was just like, I just like abandoned ship on it all. But I was also just like over the top over it. Like, it was so much work. So anyone who runs design team stuff, kudos to them for all that they do, because it's background stuff it's time consuming. It's amazingly a lot more work than anybody thinks it is. It was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. And we had like a team that we'd started with, because it was like the Sisterhood of the Blogging Stampers or something. And so that's how we started it. And then when we most of them ended up quitting because life. And so I took it over, and it was a lot of work, like every week to get everything. Even we went down to 2. But so I kind of bulk at challenges in general just because I was so over it. But I really like the craft roulette one, probably because I can use whatever is in my stash and I don't feel like compelled to only use you know, just Lawn Fawn stuff or just Tim Holtz stuff or just MFT stuff. I can mix and match just to fit in the parameters. I use some of my old stuff and it's kind of fun. And then, you know, I just do the process video because I can. And, you know, I don't know if they're well received or not. And sometimes you have to not care just because you have to not care. I think we forget as creators a lot of times, at least when you're on YouTube, you forget that you need to still create for yourself. It's one of the things that I struggled with for a while when I started. Like just making sure that I still created for myself. My black soot distress ink is not very juicy. So I'm going to bring in some distress spray stain. It's basically just, you know, the same thing, just a little watered down. So I can get a little bit darker black coloring in my black. Hi, Maker Moves, Mike. Yeah, you should be editing. I'm just rambling on and, you know, talking whatevers. It's all good. So my key for today, my word of advice is definitely create for yourself, especially when you're talking like anyone that's a small YouTuber and most people that watch don't. I didn't understand like I always thought YouTube was once you hit your 1,000 people subscriber number, you got paid, and you don't. They want 4,000 watch hours a year, and it's just, I don't know. It's hard to reach all of their requirements for all of the things. So unless you have like a viral video that does, you know, a few thousand views in a couple of days, it's, I don't know, it's hard to get those watch hours up to where you're actually going to get paid. I don't foresee me getting paid ever for my YouTube stuff. I do it because I would probably have 30,000 more cards laying around because I suck at sending them than I already do. It's, yeah. And I enjoy sharing the creative process. That's why I started teaching class. So I just enjoy that aspect of it. It was one of those challenges to myself. The black was not mica spray stain, but the purple is definitely mica spray stain. I don't know how good. There we go. It comes up okay on camera. And the orange has some mica spray stain. I love coloring or painting with mica spray stains. It's, yeah, it just adds. But, you know, truthfully, I need to quit buying them because I have the Brutus Monroe aqua pigment pearl stuff, and that basically is the same. Like I could add my distress inks to it and get the same look, I guess. I just tend to need all the new things. I'm horrible. Ask my husband. I grounded myself this fall from buying new things. I've done not horrible at it, better than I was this summer, but not as, you know, I didn't not buy anything new, obviously. But after the Lawn Fawn release, I decided I needed to quit buying new things because I have way too much stuff to do. I went through some of my stamps that I need to get rid of too. I have yet to list anything because that would require time and extra effort. So they're sitting there. I've gotten rid of a few and I'll work on it eventually. I need to clear out room to make space for new stuff. I probably have 2 buckets, like 2 big, huge shoe. I bought the clear shoe thingies from Walmart. They were like a 2-pack. It's like, I don't know, they're like a big shoe box. So they fit 2 A2 cards side by side in it. And so I have currently 2 full ones and 1 partial one with all the other ones. And I send some out, but I'm really bad. Like, how many Halloween cards did Jaime make this last year? How many Halloween cards did I get in the mail this year? Not counting the one I turned into my sister's birthday card and the one I did get one Wednesday one out to my niece Spencer that I made for her specifically that she loved. That's it. The rest are still sitting in here. A part of it is I don't like writing in them. I'd never know what to say. And the other part is I hate writing labels on envelopes. I don't know why. I just do. And I'm a part of like some random acts of kindness card groups and Lawn Fawn's birthday group. So I really do need to get some cards in the mail soon for both of those things. I just really suck at it. Right now it's just a time issue with farm work. And by the time I get home from the farm, even in the morning, I'm just done. Like my allergies are bad, it just wears me out. And I'd much rather create than spend the couple of hours that it takes to send things out. I know. I'm crap at it. I try selling them. I've sold some when I did card class at the coffee shop. Then I would sell them. But, you know, you sell them for dirt cheap for the amount of time and effort you have in them, which is frustrating. And I'm not at Kate's level to do a market. I don't know. If it's just the fear of nothing selling, which, you know, or the fear of people whining about the price when I know how much it costs to probably make that card was, you know, 20 times what they're going to actually pay for it. Okay, maybe not 20 times, but some of them maybe, you know, everything that you buy for them. It is what it is. I a lot of times Maker Moose give mine away in gift sets for Christmas. So yes, it's kind of the same, you know, because it's a gift. And somebody looked at my mother once because that's what I usually give her for Christmas. I never, and I've done it for years, even before I was a huge card maker. I would sit down and do multiples of the same cards and then do sets for Christmas. And somebody's like, "That's all your daughter gets you for Christmas? Like just cards?" Like, and I'm like, and she's like, "Yeah, they're well worth it, and I'm going to use them." Like, it made sense to her that, you know, because I don't, it's kind of like me at Christmas. I really don't need anything at Christmas time. If you want to get me something, get me a gift card to Lawn Fawn or the local craft store or something along that line. So I went in a little bit heavy with my brown on the hands. So to kind of dilute that out really fast, I just use my clean earth spot on my towel, hoping that I don't cross contaminate. To pick up some of that color, it will kind of dilute it out and make it a little bit lighter. If you were wondering what I was up to, that's what I was up to. Oh, I was going to do brown shoes, I think. I probably diluted that out too much, but we'll go for it. Oh, look, Jamie got her hand in purple ink and yeah, spread it on the card. Story of my life. Alrighty. So I think all of my images are colored for the most part. I don't think I'm going to add pink to his ears. I think I'm just going to leave them as is. It's all good. So I'm going to let these dry for a little bit. And you're still here. You just have to set your phone down and do something. Be right back. Kate, if we were all at your maker market, you wouldn't get anything sold because you'd be too busy visiting with the rest of us. You know this. And yes, I would go through all of Kate's stuff because I want to see it all. That's just how I am. Whenever we go somewhere and we see things, that's what I want to do. I want to see everyone's makes or cards. But my other thing with that, because I'm creative, I have a really hard time buying anything because I'm like, oh, I can make that. One of those lies that I tell myself constantly. So I am going to bring in my brother Scan and Cut today. And we'll do it live on camera. I didn't pre-cut. It was kind of one of those joys of doing the card in my home this time that I didn't have to cut all of the images out before class. Oh, I didn't do the inside of the pumpkin. I'll do that quick before I get too far. So for my brother Scan and Cut, the mats are what, like 20 or 30 bucks a mat. Mine held the sticky for all of like 3 turns, like 3 times through. And so I've just gone to using Scotch tape to tape down my sheets of paper. It holds them in place well enough for it to cut. And well, this one's a little close to the edge. I'll have to pick off the Scotch tape from the image later. Oh, way to go, Jaime. And for the most part, I haven't had any issues since I started taping them down. I did do the tape method on my Cricut the last time I brought that out, and it worked there too. That was probably one of my biggest qualms about the Cricut, was it would always, like, my piece of paper would always pop up and it just didn't work very well. I'm going to try to cover this with white, but I have a feeling it's going to recognize it on screen and I'm going to end up having to cut some extra things later. It is what it is. So the thing with the Brother Scan and Cut is it is going to notice those outside of the line smearings, smudges, marks, those types of things. And so, of course, it just turned off. All right, I'm going to start that up, and it takes a little bit to warm up the Brother Scan and Cut. So while I'm waiting for that to kind of start up again, that's what I get for talking too long and not getting my stuff done. So for class, I usually, oh, this one must have been my extras. Lovely. So I have lots of extra pieces today. Let's just make sure I have at least enough of the pieces that I need today. So for my class, I always have everything cut and kitted and ready to go, except this time I got to use Brother Scan and Cut in class, which was kind of fun. The ladies that come are, 2 of them are seasoned crafters, and my mother, who is not a seasoned car maker, she's a seasoned crafter, just not paper crafter. And so she's been starting to get into it a little bit more. She says my cards are a little too extra for her beginning self, but she does fairly good. It's just, you know, a little bit more one-on-one instruction, or I have her sit next to me so I can make sure she's behaving, as you have with your parent. You know what I'm talking about, Kate, right? Misbehaving parents. It's all the rage. I'm kidding. There's a meme out there about parents not listening to you or something. Yeah. It was like my husband's parents went to the bar when they weren't supposed to be going to the bar during COVID, like back in the day. And we would laugh. We're like, oh my gosh. Like there was a secret bar knock and like speakeasy style stuff going on there. It was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny. It's what happens when you live in the country, you know. All of those things. All right, so for my, I just add double stick score tape onto the flaps. I will fold up my other one as well. Yeah, so, and yeah, Maker Moose might get. That's my first mat. Like, I have not, and I use it. I didn't use it right away when I first got it, probably because the mat was, you know, it would slide around on the mat, whatever. You can also, I will also take my mat because it gets kind of, you know, like the paper, I don't know, what do you call it? Paper, it's not sawdust, but paper dust from the cutting will get like all goopy, and I will take my mat and run it into the kitchen with some Dawn dish soap and scrub it down with the scrubby. And then I will take, once in a while, I will take pixie spray. I will like mark off the sides and take pixie spray, spray the whole thing. And it works good for like 1 time or 2 times, but it adds a little bit of stick back to the mat. And so it helps hold it in place, I think, just a teeny tiny bit. And so, yeah. But yeah, Scotch tape is the way to go with that one. You can do washi, but washi is going to show up on your, you know, on your mat when you scan it. And so you have to delete more. And I just make sure that I usually leave enough space. Like this one, I did not leave enough space down here on the bottom. When I stamped it, I usually try to leave about a 1/4 inch border all the way around my images on my mat, just because it makes life a little bit easier when you're taping it down. The other thing I had issues with because I use tape is if the tape is not down all the way and it peels up and it gets stuck on the underside, yeah, it's not pretty. I've had to go in with like an extractor tool, like, you know, I'm a resourceful farm girl, so I would take my little scraper and I kind of like scraped it off and got it to work again. I was like freaking out the one time because it was like not working and I was like, I can't afford a new one. So for my, I don't have a rhyme or a reason when I put my platform pop-ups together. However, I put the T in there, I put the T in there. If I have to fold it under, if I have to fold it up, you know, not too picky. It seems to always go together okay. I cleaned my desk last night. Kate can attest to it because I sent her the before and then I sent her the after. And so I had a pin. I had a blue pin. I even like, it was like right there. I can't find it. All right, I found the pink one. We're good to roll. I was gonna say, I'll set it right here next to this blue one. I'm kidding. It's not right next to the blue one. I still don't see the blue one. Okay, so making sure that I have that T-piece all the way in, pulled flat and flush, and then I'm just going to fold that down. I wouldn't have to do the double stick tape on this one. I could just go with the glue, but because we're on camera and I want to make sure that it sticks good and I don't have to, you know, wait longer. When I'm by myself, I can putz around and wait, but trying to make it as quick and easy. And yes, I have issues with double-sided adhesive, so I usually go in with a little bit of glue. Right now, I am using glitter art glue. When my glitter art glue runs out, I'll probably try the Barely art glue just because it can freeze. And, you know, I live where I live, where the air hurts my face. Yeah. So same thing for this one. And see, I told you, I don't always put it the same way all the time. Should I? Probably. I don't pay that close of attention. It's one of those details that I don't know. I shouldn't say don't matter, but it doesn't make a difference to me one way or the other. So I just kind of throw it together however I throw it together. And the other one. And then I like to burnish it okay, so then it kind of sticks together. Now for my centerpiece, I'm actually using a hill from, I want to say this is the Shadow Box add-on. Let's see, I only have a couple of them. So this is the theater add-on, I think. I don't know if that's the name of it or not, from Lawn Fawn. But look, it fits in here perfectly. And I really just wanted a little bit of a hill. I didn't need a lot for this one, and it'll stick down enough that I don't do a middle T. I quit doing the middle T about my second box in when I started making them. It was just, to me, it was, I don't know, an extra die cut that I had to cut that I was like, I really don't need to make another cut on my, you know, if I can get away without having to die cut another piece when it comes to having to cut 2 or 3 of something, I will do it. But this way, I get that full heel. I like the stability of not using the T in the middle. I noticed when they did their newest one, they made it wider like that so it actually sticks in the whole thing. If you like that T in the middle, go ahead and use that T in the middle. It's just not my thing. I like to save steps. That's, you know, I don't know. It's how I roll. And then because Kate is awesome, I might have done this and I don't know, but Kate does it and she explained it as such. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. I even told the ladies in my card class that Kate from Kate's Craft is brilliant. Because if you line this one up and get this one perfect, because everyone whines about their top will bow down or bend down. If you get it perfect on the bottom, I've never had it bow on the top since doing it this way. So thank you, Kate. And then popping this in here. So I finally got around to doing my magic iris in the platform pop-up. And my issue with that one was I was not paying attention when I did my folds, and I didn't fold them very good. That's the other part. But it just doesn't, it's not tight enough, like, to pop it up. And part of it was I used a lighter weight cardstock, kind of like this one is a lighter weight cardstock. But this piece was off, and my top was flat, so I thought I was good. But there's a little bit of a gap on this side here and like here. So I ended up going in with paper when it was open. I like put extra cardstock in here to kind of shore it up or stiffen it up a little bit so it would catch. And it works fine now, but that was one of those, like, I'd never had that happen before. It was because I didn't have my crease line. I don't know if it was down here. I didn't have my crease line very good. It was just one of those things. So for the most part, I have my box created. For this one, because I didn't want to do a hill on the front. I was going to keep it I wanted to keep it fairly flat. I'm actually just taking that stitched piece that actually goes around the front of the box, if that's what you were going to use, for like the ribbon. I just cut that one out, and I used that as just to add a stitched detail onto that front tee. It's not exactly as long as the tee, so I will just cut off the portion that hangs, the portion of the tee that hangs over, and then it looks a little more finished. I'm not worried about that back one. I do have a little hill if you so choose to add it. I did not add it to my original one. I don't think we added it in class. They might have. I gave them the option. I always like to give them the option. So I'm going to set this to the side because we need to cut out our images. So let me pull up the Brother Scan and Cut. I might have to adjust the camera. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull you up a little bit. Okay, let's cover the water up so I don't spill. And I will make that flat for you. Let's see if I can't see, so I'm going to have to wait until I can see it on the computer screen. What you're actually going to have to see here. So I will get this ready. Things Jaime should have tried before she went live. What's the story of my life? Oh yeah, you get to see all of my mess. See? It's all good. Okay, let's see here. If I can zoom in. I'm not that tall. I need a step stool. Okay, I'm gonna stand on my roller chair. If you hear a big crash, that was me. It was nice knowing you all. Let's see here. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do. Let's see. Is it gonna let me? It's not gonna let me zoom in. Alrighty. Well, let's try this. I'll get down here a little bit here. Well, you get to see my side messes. Actually, I like to create with everything right out by me. I tend to grab more stuff that way. I use more things that way. It's how I work. Alrighty, this is what we got because that's how it is. So let's see. I'm gonna lay that flat. I can't see it as good, but you can see it better. So to start, of course, it's going to tell you that it's going to move the cartridge into initial position. I want to load my mat. My images are already on there. And usually I only scan the 12 by, the 6-inch. So it only goes halfway in. If I do a full sheet, I will do the full scan, but pressing the scan, I just do a direct cut. I don't save it to my scan and cut. There's no point really. And then all you do is push start. It's going to feed it into the machine. It's going to hit all the stuff that's back there, because my desk is clean. And then we're just going to go in here and kind of frame the image. Now, you don't have to be perfect on this one. I try to get it fairly close so I don't have to erase a lot of things, but I'm not going to mess around with it today, and I can't see it the greatest from my angle because the light glares on it for me. Hopefully you don't see that glare. So it's going to recognize the images. It takes a little bit of time here. And so if you can see, it kind of shows everything that it's going to cut. So I'm going to push OK because it recognized everything that I needed it to recognize. I'm going to already pop on the distance to 0.04. I'm not going to do, I want to do the white border. If I didn't, I wouldn't do this part already, but I'm going to do it this way. It actually makes it easier to edit and erase things. So you can always go back and change that border, but this way I can just select what I don't need it to cut. So all of my half images that I didn't need. There's some garbage on the screen that I don't need either. That's on my mat that got picked up. Okay. I'm going to delete my brooms since I'm not using those for this one and they're not colored yet. Usually I color everything on my page and then cut it all out at once, but you know. So that's all. Everything that is on there is what I need. I look to make sure that all of my lines are where they're supposed to be. Sometimes it won't read a line, and so I just skip it. I did for class, I had to move one image in, and so I said, okay, I'm just gonna, I must have bumped something. I just ended up, I'm like, well, either I'm gonna hand cut it for you or I'll scan it again. And I scanned it again and it worked. So it was just where it was placed. It was too close to the black. It was in range, but it didn't like it. So it wouldn't cut it. So, and then it just cuts. So this is, it self picks its level of like the paper width. I think, do the new Cricuts do that? I don't know. Mine, I had to always select. And then I usually make sure that it cuts all the way through, because if I remove it from the machine before it cuts all the way through, I end up hand cutting it the rest of the way because I worry about, sometimes I don't. I think I had one last week that cut the first one all the way out and then it didn't cut the other things all the way out, and I ended up running it back through the scan and cut. It cut most of them on the same lines, but some of them were off just a teeny tiny bit. And so I try to make sure that it cuts before I remove it from my machine. And so cut time anywhere between 1 and 3 minutes, depending upon the amount of images, the width of images. And yes, it's going to want to cut it again, but everything cut. So I'm going to push quit cutting and okay. And then it's going to, you know, move it back to initial position. And then I will unload the mat. And that is it. So I will put this one back down. I'll move, you know, if you don't have all of the debris next to my desk, it's a good thing I cleaned it as good as I cleaned it last night, because boy, there was piles everywhere. So I'm just going to pop up my image here. I will clean the rest of my mat off later. And there's a little bit of tack there. It's not a whole lot of tack, just because I haven't washed it in a while. Alrighty, so I have all of my images. They're cut, ready to go. Oh, well, I get an extra bat because I cut some extra ones out for class. See the difference between purple bat wings and black bat wings? I like the glittery purple ones the best. Okay, so those are ready to go. I did not color those in yellow, so I'm going to do that now before I forget. Life. I was up at 6:20 this morning. Can we say ew? I mean, that's the normal time to get up, but waking up and having snow on the ground was not. It was actually snowing when we went to bed last. Like, I was gonna make steak on the grill last night, and I looked at him. I'm like, it's 20 degrees outside, and it's starting to snow. You're getting it fried and buttered on the stove, which it's delicious that way too, but it's easier and less mess for me to do it on the grill. So for this one, I'm going to try, let's see, we're going to end up, I'm going to need some blocks here to help hold it up. Just so, it's one of the harder parts of making a platform pop up on screen is, you know, so I'm going to pop it up this way until I absolutely have to make it, the platform pop up. So for this one here, I'm actually going to just add some glue onto those points there. Do I want that on the front or the back? I'm probably going to put that on the front. I'm trying to think how we did it. Because I can do it that way too. Which way did I had them all on the front. Okay. I think I will have enough real estate to do glue there. We'll hope. Here's hoping I have enough real estate to glue there. Okay. So I'm going to add, oh, I should have moved her off center a little bit, but that's where she is. That's where she's going to be. So I glue on my chair and I glue on my little girl. So one of the things, if you don't have the platform pop-up, and platform pop-ups aren't your thing, which I can totally understand. This one, the layout is similar to any style of the boxcar, like the pop-up boxcar, but you can also do the same images and the same scene on an A2 card. Use a little bit of foam adhesive to kind of pop things up, pop things off. I use it a lot now, Lisa, just because I don't buy the dies. It saves me money on dies. That's why I bought it. So I actually, for a few years ago, my dad had sent me a sizable, you know, a gift card to Amazon for a little bit of money. It wasn't enough for the Brother Scan and Cut, but it paid for a good chunk of it. And so I was like, you know, I need to quit buying dies because, you know, you're paying 25, 26 bucks for a die. And I can buy more stamps if I don't have to buy the dies. And so I bought it, and then I was afraid to use it because, you know, that's how I roll. I end up having to watch some YouTube videos to figure out how to center them better because it was off a little bit. And so I did end up watching some videos to figure that out. And then once I figured that out, I was still buying some of the dies. And I was like, you know, you bought this $400 machine, so you didn't have to buy the dies. So then I had to force myself not to buy the coordinating dies anymore. And when I forced myself not to buy the coordinating dies, I hate fussy cutting. If I can avoid it at all costs, I will. And so I was like, if I quit buying the dies, I'm going to force myself to use it. And so that's how I ended up starting to use it. And then I loved it because like all the little pieces from all that, is it just add glitter stamp set, like the little pens and all the little pieces. It was like super fast. I didn't realize how much time I was spending to cut out those things. Like it was just beyond me to really, you know, I like didn't, you know, because when you're creating, you're just creating and whatever. And I was like, I'm spending hours die cutting little images. And so I don't mind die cutting images sometimes, but when it's like, the more I was getting into bigger and, you know, more intricate pieces and fuller scenes, you know, die cutting would take me, coloring would take me a long time, and die cutting would take me sometimes just as long. And so I ended up quitting that, and it worked, you know, and that was, it definitely like saved so much time on the end. Because yeah, it took like 2 minutes to die cut. You know, by the time probably 5 minutes to start up the machine, run it through, pick everything apart, and then get it to cut. So, you know, it definitely saves a lot of time. If I only have 1 or 2 images to do, it's not so bad. So for this one, and I'm sure I did not, oh, I know where I put it. Okay. For class, we measured. So one of the things with adding all of the things for the platform pop-up is envelope space, right? So if you don't add anything beyond this point, you can get it into an A2 envelope. How often do I actually send out a platform pop-up that fits in an A2 envelope? Not very often. It's just not gonna happen. So usually a 5x7 one is the way to go. It's cheaper to send than a square one, at least here. If I send to Canada, I can send a square card for the same amount as I can send a regular card to Canada. So I need to remember that when I do it. But so for this one, I just pull in a 5x7 envelope and make sure that my bat is going to stick, you know. So he's going to stay within my range of that one. And so I'm going to cut him, I'm guessing around here. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll just do the initial cut and then I'll tuck him in here and see where he's going to end up. Yeah, he'll be fine. And so making sure that he's actually going to be fit in the envelope. The other issue that we talked about in class was mailing it. Because you have it in a 5x7 envelope, if I go to the post office where I live and not the town over, if the postmaster's there, it's different than if his worker is there, because she's picky. I don't know if she just doesn't think she can get away with things, but he always is like, oh yeah, we can do this, we can do that for that, and it's always cheaper when he's there. Don't ask. And so the other thing is I buy the cheap 5x7. I think these are the value. It's what, a $10 note card set from either Crafts Direct or Hobby Lobby or Joann's. They're a lighter weight cardstock, but taking a blank 5x7 card and tucking it in there will help it to send in the mail better. You don't have to pay that non-machinable charge that really is not non-machinable, because let's be honest, they send it through the machine anyway. I always laugh because I'm like, yeah, every card I've ever gotten that has non-machinable on it has always gone through the machine, almost every time. It's like, I don't know, inevitable. So I'm going to add my double stick adhesive down here on my acetate pick here. I went with a wider acetate pick. I just think it's a little bit more sturdy and stable. I'm going to also add a drop of glue onto the back there. Not too much that it sticks out the side. I just want it, once it dries, it'll help to adhere it on there and I don't have to worry about issues in, I guess, shipping or in transit, like it falling off. It's a little less likely to. Now, I went a little too far up with my adhesive, so he's going to get a little shorter. Just because my adhesive was hanging out over the top of my T-piece, and I don't want that. So I tucked this on the back side of my T-piece. I definitely could have just gone in with that hillside and added that, and now we can't even see him. Way to go, Jaime. Alrighty. Okay, so now I'm going to have to go in and fix it. It's called life. So fine, we're gonna attach him to the hill over here, and then I'm just gonna add my little hill on, and he's just gonna sandwich in between there. That's what happens when we make mistakes. We just adjust. He's still not in the greatest spot, but he be fine. And then of course I didn't hold him so he doesn't stick. So for that one, yeah, see, this is what happens when I try to do it on live. It doesn't work. Okay. So I have my little box created. Yeah, my little bat's not hanging out the greatest, but he's there. And for my sentiment. So I have two things for the sentiment. I have one already die cut, so I take the largest of the basic, I don't know if they're basic banner dies, the banner dies from Lawn Fawn. So the simple sentiment banners from Lawn Fawn, I cut it once and then I cut it again so it would fit my sentiment. It is going to hang over on the sides a teeny tiny bit there, which is fine. You could definitely bend it around if that bugs you, but once it's flat, it's going to be flat. When it's popped up, it'll stick out, and I kind of like the stick out look. The other thing that I have is one of the squares cut with the stitched thing. This one, I will tell you how I do this one. So this is what we did in class, and they were like, looked at me funny, and then they're like, oh, that's pretty genius. So I usually do with my platform pop-ups, if I do that back panel piece, I will find the larger stitched rectangle that fits this way on the back, and I don't actually glue it on. I will put my sentiment on there if I have a separate sentiment for the back part, but usually when I store my card, I just store it with this piece already double-sided adhesive, so I can write on it on the table and then peel them and stick it on there, and I don't have to worry about going over the bumps and stuff. So that's usually how I do my back piece or my wording on it. Of course, adding it into a 5.5 by 7. So if I wanted to write more, I could always write that on the inside of that card or on the front of that card there. So for this one, because it's, you know, wishing you a happy Halloween, but since Halloween is, you know, here and it's not going to get in the mail, I'm going to go with, well, I could do I'm Under Your Spell. I do have an anniversary coming up. My husband does not understand my love for all things Halloween. We had the discussion this morning. He's like, it's Halloween. I'm like, it's my favorite holiday. And he's like, it is? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, Halloween is my favorite. He's like, why is it your favorite? I'm like, because all you're required is to dress funny and nobody can judge you. So if you, you know, aren't wearing pants, what are they going to say? That's your Halloween costume today. I am wearing pants, I promise. Maybe. You didn't see that part, did you? I'm kidding. So I'm just going to go in. Usually for class, we put it in the Misty. I'm just going to go in with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and we're going to free stamp it today. It's an art to free stamp, I think. And I think it's because I learned that from the get-go. And of course, this is going to be harder with my camera in the way. Lining it up. Here's hoping. But like your pressure, your amount, it's definitely an art to figure out. Stamping freehand. I don't know. I call it freehand stamping or freestyle because it's not, you know, if I mess it up, good luck. It is what it is, right? I'm going to come in with, let's see, we'll go carved. Do I want to do carved pumpkin? I maybe want to do purple on that one, huh? Let's do Villainous Potion. I think that'll pop a little bit better. So you wouldn't have to do this step. I like to do this step just because it's old school, like from when I started. This was original distress style stuff, but I like it because it adds just a little bit of color on, because my base is kind of that creamy yellow or creamy, I don't know, what is that, antique linen, and it kind of blends in, and I didn't want it to blend in, so I kind of add it for a little bit of a pop of color. And then of course doing it in purple is just, and hey, we're sticking off the sides here, lady. What are you doing? Wiping the glue off, the over glue, because oh, I did end up going with best witches. Oh, I did best witches on your birthday. That's what I did for card class, because I sent this one to my sister for her birthday. And there we go. So best witches on your birthday. So to add embellishments to this one, definitely you can add some glitter if you want to. Being that I used the mica distress spray for my paint, I'm not going to add glitter to this one. But I think I have some little teeny tiny bats somewhere here. So these aren't in the kit. They weren't what we did. I think I did pull them out for class because I was like, ooh, we needed some embellishments, you know. So this mix comes from Crescent Creation. So it was one that I had gotten sent to me when I was on their design team. I was planning on getting some shakers done for Halloween. You know, October is like always a blur, and I always forget how much of a blur October is until October is here and gone, because field work hits me like a rock every year. I always think September is going to be busier than it is. Don't ask me why. Ooh, I kind of like this spider. And yeah, I always forget, you know, how fast October goes, because yeah, I end up in tractors and skid loaders and hauling boxes, and well, not boxes. My oldest is out of school, so I don't have to haul boxes anymore. Thank the Lord above. I hate hauling boxes. I'm always afraid that I'm going to cause problems. I like to do embellishments in threes, and so I will put my little glue there. I'm going to grab my pickup stick here and pop those on there. So crystal katanas, cheapest place to get them is Amazon. You can get like a 4-pack, 6-pack. You can get a pack. Like the ladies in my card class are like, what are you going to teach us to buy tonight? Because they always end up buying something new whenever we have card class, which I think is funny. But I always send them the cheapest options available on Amazon, because it's, yeah, to do, I think I bought I have the Studio Cadia one, and it was like 10 bucks, and it's no different than the ones for nails that you can pick up at Amazon or Sally's or wherever for a lot cheaper. Because I think I did the ones for class when I did my class kits. I think I got them off of Amazon for like 10 bucks for 12 of them or 6 of them. I think 6 of them. I think it was $1.50 a piece or something. So there is my finished creation for Halloween. Best wishes on your birthday. I have somebody that had a birthday last like 2 days ago, so maybe I will send this one to her. She's also blonde, so that would probably work well, and she'd probably appreciate it. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any other questions that I missed, please let me know. And free stamping gives Kate exciting. Well, that's all we had back in the day. Like, it was just what we did, and so you just got really comfortable doing it. And when you free stamped with red rubber, it was way different than free stamping with acrylic. So once we went to acrylic and you could actually see when you were lining something up again, it worked beautifully. It was what it was. Let's see. You're a noob. Well, I mean, it takes time and it takes practice. It's not an easy, you know, it's something that you have to just continue. You just get a feel for it. It's like a muscle memory thing. You do it over and over and over again. You just feel it and you get there. I think the biggest, because I used to do scrapbooking, I really didn't do card making as much until I spent, this was one of those like funny, what's the biggest lie you've ever told yourself? Because I bought cards the one year for, I don't know, I think it was like Mother's Day. So I needed like 3 Mother's Day cards, and I had some birthday cards, like my best friend's birthday and my aunt's birthday and my grandpa's birthday. I think about like 5, I don't know, what did I end up buying? I bought like 6, I don't know, 6 or 7 cards from, you know, Target, the greeting card section, and it was 80 bucks. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I have everything at home to make cards. Like, I could just make them and it wouldn't cost me. Biggest lie I've ever told myself. My nanny says the same thing. She's like, yeah. Pop-Up was like, yeah, we're going to save all this money in greeting cards because Nanny's going to make them. And she's like, yeah. He realized about a few months later that was the biggest lie he's ever told himself. And I'm like, yeah. Well, and we always joke because we always say you don't have enough. You can't become addicted to drugs if you don't have enough money to become addicted to drugs, right? So for me, I always say, well, I can't become a druggie because obviously I won't have enough money for stamps, and that's my addiction. So it's all good. And for our kids, because they're boys, we got them into antique tractors. So they tend to be really expensive to fix. So we kind of joked with the boys. We're like, well, you know, we wanted to keep you off drugs and just say no to drugs. We just hooked you on a hobby that was expensive. I lost my garbage can. Well, you know, that's what I truthfully lost my garbage can. I don't know where it went. I had it last night. Oh well, I'll put my garbage away later. So any questions before I go? I hope you all have a happy Halloween. I probably won't get any trick-or-treaters. I will pull out candy today for trick-or-treaters, but we live in the country, so we usually don't get any trick-or-treaters. And my kids are now full grown, you know, 18 and 20, or almost 20. So there will be no trick-or-treat going out unless they're, you know, going out with friends. But we did that the one did that this weekend. So we don't have, I don't even get to, you know, do any of the fun stuff. I will be dressing up. I'm going to Texas with the girls in December. And we do Dickens on the Strand in Galveston. And so that's my dress up time. I don't get dressed up for Halloween anymore. I get dressed up for Dickens on the Strand. I haven't decided if I'm going Victorian, you know, proper lady dress or pirate theme. I haven't decided yet. I think the other girls are going pirate theme, so I will see what. I have both options available. I might have a few costumes for Dickens on the Strand. It's fun to dress up. So anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing Halloween. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Questions down below, I will get to them as soon as I can. I do have videos. I have my first holiday wishes series or video will be coming out tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then Friday I have a video scheduled, and then I think it's going to be Sunday which is the coordinating video to Friday's video. So that one was introduced in one of my last lives. So it is Fridays will be the real time of the platform pop-up with the magic iris snow globe worked into it. So somebody had requested it when I did my so I was going over in my head this morning all of the different platform pop-ups that I've done. So I've done the window with a view, and that one's like my most watched YouTube video. I think it's close to 10,000 views now. But so I did the platform pop-up window with a view, and I did the slider. So it's just a slider card. It was a roller coaster slider. That one was probably one of the easiest ones that I had done. I've done the swish and pop pull tab in platform pop-up. I did the double-decker platform pop-up, which was one on top, one on the bottom, and so it kind of made a shadow box, or not a shadow box. Oh, shadow box? Yeah. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones, because I did multiples of some of those. There was another one. And then the reveal wheel, which was how Kate and I kind of got to know each other, because she had done a reveal wheel in hers, and she laid down the gauntlet to see if somebody could do it better. And of course, I learned from some of what Kate did, and so took it up to the next level on that one. And then I'm trying to think which was the other one that I love adding interactive things to them. I think I did a pull tab in, just like a straight pull tab in there once. Sometimes they get thick and they don't work the greatest, but it is what it is. I suppose I can show you the snow again. Let's see if I can show you the ceiling. We will prop this one up. There we go. So there you go. You want to see the snow? Well, the sun is actually shining out. It was kind of cloudy earlier and you couldn't see the snow. Yeah, you see the snow? Not a fan. I still have field work to do. It's not impressive to us here in Minnesota. Yeah, we still have straw bales or corn stalks to make, so not too many. We only have 50 left out of, we probably do 1,400 bales. I would send you some, but I'm pretty sure it would just be a craft math. Yeah, don't do craft math. I'm not good at craft math. My husband will say, well, measure it. I'm like, I eyeball it. That's how I roll. It's easier that way. So, but yeah, we do a lot of corn stalks because we like to keep the animals well bedded in the winter and clean all the time. And so I think we have about 50 left to make to suffice us to next fall. I think we have leftovers from last year, so we'll be okay if we don't get out there. But we've done, like, I got back from Dickens, which is the first weekend in December, and I went from the airport to the tractor seat the one year in December. It was not cool. I'm hoping we get them done this week. Hopefully the snow melts off, it warms up enough, and I still have carrots in the garden and potatoes and horseradish. I don't know if I'll get it out or not. It is what it is. I got busy doing other things in life, and so that was kind of how it goes. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an amazing Halloween, and I will be back next month, last day of the month at midnight Central Daylight Time, because I think Minnesota does not go back to daylight. We are staying in daylight savings time, I do believe. So we will actually be on East, kind of like East Coast time, but it'll be Central Daylight Time all year round. Hi, Sandra. Happy Halloween to you too. And so yeah, that one will go up. I suppose it'll be 11 o'clock Central time. No, I don't know. Don't make me math today. It's just not happening today. But so that one will be, my next Halloween will be up on the end of November. And then I will continue to do Get Creeping on Halloween this coming year. I enjoyed it. I got to do a lot of stuff throughout the year that I wanted to get to. I have a couple of things that I didn't get to do this year just because life happened, but it also let me do, I felt like I could do actual fall card stuff that I don't ever get to normally. And so I loved getting to play with the tractor sets and the Happy Harvest. I have another Happy Harvest one. I have up in here that needs to get onto paper. That'll be fun with the waving pull tab die. So Kate and I were kind of bouncing ideas, and I'm like, ooh, that would be cool. And so, of course, it's going to have to happen. It is what it is. So anyways, have an amazing rest of the day. I know I've said this like 4 times. It's a Minnesota goodbye. It's how we roll. It takes us 5 hours to get out the front door. If you're related, you understand this. We start our goodbyes at like 3 and we don't leave until like 5. Usually my husband's waiting in the car honking the horn like, we're going to be late for chores. Can't you just say goodbye and leave? It doesn't work that way. So have a great day. Take care. Bye.